Hello strangers, I'm ranting my way through life, and today I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie of Freddie Mercury. I guess it's called a biopic? I don't know. But anyway, I saw that today, and I want to talk about it, because I just want to talk about it, okay? Alright, so first of all, a little bit of backstory. I freaking love Queen so much. I was so excited when I saw that this movie was coming out. Like, I think I saw the first trailer of it, like, a few months ago. I don't know. But as soon as I found out that it was being made and it was, like, a thing that was happening, I was so excited. I, like, almost cried when I saw the very first trailer for it. The, like, preview, whatever. 'Cause, like, I've been listening to Queen pretty much the whole life because my parents are, like, huge Queen fans, like, crazy huge Queen fans. And actually, like, on a personal level, Freddie Mercury was, like, the first person that my parents ever really, like, told me was not straight, which I'll get more into the whole, like, his sexuality thing later on in the video. Stay tuned. Freddie Mercury has always been, like, a huge, important person to me, so the fact that they were making a biopic about him, like, I'm so excited! So, without any further ado, I have some, like, pros and cons, some, like, things I really like, things that I was, like, not so much about. So, let's start with some pros. So, first of all, the music, obviously. It was really cool because they would, like, hint at things. They would have, like, a few chords from songs, and they're, like, super well-known songs, so everybody was like, oh, that's this song, or that's this song, and as soon as, like, a couple of notes were played, and they were like, and then the people in the movie were like, oh, that sounds cool, let's explore that, and everybody's like, yes, good. And, like, going along with the music, they did the like, concert reenactments, I guess you could call them, I don't know, were done really, really, really well. Especially at the very end, they show pretty much the entire Live Aid concert. Like, that was crazy. I definitely fully expected it to, like, maybe have, like, the first minute or so, and then just, like, fade out and continue on with the story, but, like, the Live Aid concert was pretty much what the whole movie was revolved around, which, if you don't know what that is, like, I didn't know before I went in there, despite being a big Queen fan. Like, I didn't really know all the specifics of, like, all their different concerts and stuff, because I'm not big on concerts personally, so, you know. But the Live Aid concert was this big, huge, worldwide thing, literally, like, over 1 billion people watched it, because it was broadcast live, and people were, like, actually physically there in different places, and it was, like, this huge thing to raise money to end hunger in Africa. So that was the whole thing. And it was this huge thing. Pretty much anybody who was anybody in the music scene at that time, this was, like, the mid-80s, were performing at this concert. So, obviously Queen's part of it, and they show, like, pretty much the whole set. And it was really cool. Next thing, Rami Malek. I know I totally butchered that, but he's a freaking gift from whoever, like, or whatever, just from the universe. I love him so much. So, especially when I saw that he was gonna be playing Freddie, so good. Any scene that was just him was, like, amazing. Just watching him perform, like, he brought so much energy into the role, and it, like, really felt very true to everything. Like, he's such a good actor. So, that's definitely solidly in the pro column. Like, 10 out of 10. He did such a good job. Another thing in the pro column, like, it was a really good biopic, in my opinion, because, like, I learned a lot about Freddie Mercury and, like, Queen in general that I didn't know about before. Like, I don't really know a whole lot about the band's history. I just really, really love their music. So, learning about all these different things, about all the shit that they went through, and just all of their ups and downs and everything as a group, and how they came together, and all of this, like, really good. So if you're a music history buff type person, like, my last thing that's solidly in the pro column is I felt like they put exactly the right amount of attention on his AIDS diagnosis, because they could have gone the direction where, like, the entire movie felt like it was focused on that and, like, everything was about that, or they could have skated over it completely and just, like, ignored it, except for a little note at the end that he died of pneumonia due to complications with AIDS, whatever. But I feel like they put exactly the right amount of attention on it, because especially something that the scene that happened in the movie, and I assume that this is accurate to life because I know that the band members were, like, involved in the production of this movie. I'm pretty sure. I'll look that up to make sure. But I'm pretty sure they were, and they were, like, part of figuring out what would or wouldn't be portrayed and how it would be portrayed. So, in the movie, he made a point when he told his band members, he made a point to be like, this is a thing that's happening, but none of y'all better put any attention on it. Like, I don't want to waste what time I have left, like, mourning my death that hasn't even happened yet, you know? And I really like that perspective where it's gonna happen. And I mean, everybody's gonna die. There's no point in putting your energy and your thoughts on a death that hasn't happened yet. Like, yes, you know that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen way too early for somebody with that kind of diagnosis, especially at that time. Like, it's going to happen way too early, it's going to just be horrible, but there's no point in mourning something that hasn't happened yet, you know? You know what I mean? And that's just general good life advice. So I feel like with knowing that, I feel like they put just enough attention on the AIDS crisis and everything, because this movie was not about the AIDS crisis, you know? I think I read a review before I went and saw the movie that was about that somebody was upset that they didn't put more attention on the AIDS crisis, and it's like, this movie was not about the AIDS crisis. Yes, it was about somebody who ended up dying from complications related to AIDS, but it wasn't about that. So I feel like they put just enough attention on that to make it real, like, make it, like, this happened, and it sucks ass that it happened. But this movie is not about that. This movie is about Freddie Mercury and Queen and just his whole life. And his whole life is not about him getting AIDS. Like, it's not a cautionary tale, you know? And that was something that he also said in the movie, like, his life is not a cautionary tale, and I feel like if they'd have put more attention on the AIDS issue, then it would have felt like an after-school special, like, don't do what this guy did because he died from AIDS. Like, yeah, I feel like if they'd have put more attention on it, it definitely would have felt like that whole cautionary tale, after-school special, don't do drugs, don't have sex, whatever. Like, yeah. So that's solidly in the pro column. So now we're gonna work into the cons. And so I have one thing that kind of straddles between. So how do I say this? I'm not sure how I feel about how they portrayed his sexual orientation, because nowhere in the whole movie does he explicitly say that he's gay, but he does say the word bisexual, which, that is in my pro column. Even though they didn't really stick with calling him bisexual, he does say the word bisexual in the movie. And that was amazing for me. Like, say whatever you will, we can discuss all day long, which I would prefer we didn't, and I'll get to that. We can discuss all day long whether he was gay or bisexual, but the fact that they said the word bisexual and acknowledged that that was a thing that has existed for a long-ass time was amazing to me. Just personally, as a bisexual person, like, any time anybody in anything actually says the word bisexual, it makes me incredibly happy. Because just the acknowledgement that it's a real thing that exists is great. So, just, yeah, that's solidly in the pro column. Like, I don't know that he ever in his life, like IRL, not in the movie, said that he was gay. You know, I also don't know if he ever said that he was bisexual. Like, just because he said it in the movie, they had him say it in the movie. I don't know that he ever actually said that. So, you know, I don't know. We don't know. That's the thing about people from the LGBT community of that time. Words were used a little bit differently. It seems like anybody who ended up in a homosexual relationship was just called gay across the board, or lesbian if they were female. But like, they might not necessarily have actually been fully gay or lesbian. It's just like, at that time it was like you were either gay or straight, and if you called yourself bisexual, then basically you had to be equal. And that's also how some people still view bisexuality, is that it has to be equal completely. So, you know, it makes sense that in that time, it even more so was that mentality. You know what I mean? And I feel like bisexual used to be very much used for people who, used by and for people who were like really promiscuous and were having sex with everybody. Just didn't care at all. So it was more about behavior. So I feel like, so basically what it comes down to, I feel like sexual orientation and these labels used to be more about behavior than like actual biology, and now it's more about identity and like personal identification and less about like what you're actually doing. So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's complicated, basically, is what I'm saying. So, I feel like, I don't know. In the first half of the movie, I felt like they were putting too much attention on his relationship with Molly, I think is her name. But by the end of the movie, I liked the balance. It kind of like, the way the movie progresses and the way that who he's having sex with, who he's like hooking up with, and like all of this, it felt natural. It felt like that was really how it went down, because that makes sense for the time period. If any of this makes sense, this is all very complicated. Sexual orientation is complicated, did you know? So, he said he was bisexual, but then immediately Molly's like, no, you're gay. And that really bothered me when it happened in the movie, because I hate it. I hate it when people... So regardless of what you think about him, if that actually is how that conversation went down, if he said, I'm bisexual, and she immediately fired back with, no, you're actually gay, that pisses me off really bad, because I hate that shit. I don't like that. If somebody tells you, I am this, it's not your job to say, no, actually, you're this. Even if you do disagree with them, even if you don't think they're actually that, like, whatever, think whatever you want, but, like, keep it to your damn self, actually. Like, if somebody's using a label incorrectly, then yes, correct them, but just straight up saying, no, you're actually this, that doesn't help anybody. If you really think that they're using a word incorrectly, then sure, tell them that and explain that to them and tell them, like, what it actually means, whatever. That's fine, in my opinion. But just straight up, without any further explanation, because she didn't say, oh, you're actually gay because blah, 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 blah. She just said, no, you're gay. You're not bisexual. Which she didn't even actually say the word bisexual. The word bisexual was said one time by him and was immediately discarded. Still really appreciate the fact that it was said, but don't appreciate the fact that it was immediately swept away. Like, just, no. Nope. Bisexual. No. Bad. Alright, moving on from that whole issue. Because again, this movie was not about his sexual orientation. It was just like it wasn't about him having AIDS. It was about him as a whole person. And I feel like they did a good job on portraying him as a whole person. Like, yeah. One thing that kept creeping up, kept coming up, that really bothered me was, was the fact that they really skated over the band drama, all the, like, arguments and the whatever. It happened, it kind of was, like, surface level tension, and then immediately discarded. Kind of like the whole bisexual thing. Just, like, it happened, and then immediately went away, and everything was fine again, and everything was rosy, fine, and dandy. Which I don't for a second believe actually happened. I feel like probably, I don't know. And I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about this one as well, because I definitely got the vibe that they were trying to portray Queen as, like, a family, which I believe that that's probably how it actually was, because that just feels right. How long they were active for and how just close they seem to be. Just, yeah. So, they definitely portrayed them as, like, a family, less a band. So, families fight, and then somebody breaks the tension by, like, telling a joke, or making a suggestion, or, like, just, like, you know, casual ribbing, you know? And then everything's fine again. But, I don't know. They just seemed, it felt too quick. And I know it's a movie, so they have to kind of move through things quickly, or else it's just going to be like a 10-hour movie to be able to show everybody's things. Maybe Shane Dawson should do I don't even want to finish that joke reference. Oh gosh. Anyway, you guys know where I was going with that probably. But yeah, it felt very much like everybody was very quick to forgive and very, very quick. Which, if that's actually how it was, then great. More power to them. That's goals right there. But I don't really believe that that's how it was. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the band drama could have been focused on a little bit more. Because they definitely had drama in it, and it felt very real. Like, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to be too spoilery in this, but there's definitely another person who was causing a lot of contention and a lot of drama, and, like, at first I kind of liked him, but as soon as that character was introduced, and as soon as a certain thing happened, I was like, this guy's not gonna be good news here in a little bit. So, and they definitely portrayed that well, I feel like. So I don't think that they were afraid of, like, showing the drama, but it's just, like, it felt, all of the tension, all of the drama in everybody's things felt very surface level and very, like, oh, this is a thing, blah, 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 but I don't know. I don't think that they showed his dark periods enough, if that makes sense. But anyway, those are really the only cons that I have for the whole movie, and I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. I'm super glad that I went and saw it in theaters. The last movie that I saw in theaters was Black Panther, all the way back in, like, March or April, I think is when I saw it. Like, it was towards the end of its theater run. So, yeah, and that's the last movie that I saw in theaters before this one. Like, I don't see a lot of movies in theaters anymore because I'm a broke bitch, but I see the important ones, and I felt like Black Panther was important to see in theaters, and I felt like this one was important to see in theaters because this project has been a thing that's been talked about and, like, been trying to happen for a long, long, long time, and like I said at the beginning, Freddie Mercury is very important to me personally, so it felt important to see this movie. So, I hope that wasn't too scatterbrained, and I hope you enjoyed it, and please go see the movie. It was amazing. You will love it. Thanks for watching. Alright, so this is the point in the video where I will tell you to click places. And once again, I don't have my front-facing camera, so I don't know where anything is, but if you click somewhere on the screen right now, you will subscribe to my channel, and somewhere else there will be a video that YouTube thinks that you will like. I don't know what it is, just, ooh, looks interesting. Click on it. It's cool. Anyway, I will see you later, friends. Bye!